getting recorded, and there might be a few others that watch it. I'm going to kind of keep it a little bit more professional. Before we get started, does anybody have any questions about Millennium? We have been getting a few forms in from people that are both A, taking advantage of the clinic next door to have their health screening, and then B, taking advantage of the doctor visit. Know that you guys get both options, and you can do both options because we do cover a doctor visit, and then we also do cover an on-site screening. So if you haven't thought about taking advantage of either the doctor visit or even easier yet, just walking across the street and have the clinic do the on-site health screening, definitely do that. You guys are at a tremendous advantage. Most of our groups aren't in a hospital setting, so what we have to do is we have to show up 1 or 2 times out of the year and just funnel them all in like cattle and then funnel them all out. But by forcing them to do that, we usually get good attendance. I'm afraid that by giving you guys just 365 days, it's making it so easy that not a lot of people are participating. So I really want to push and drive home the health screenings. Hi.
Hi.
I'll have you sign in right there.
Okay.
Everybody gets 5 points by attending. And also, anybody who's watching this later, let Rochelle know that you watched it, and you'll get 5 points that way. What I've done, and I know I'm standing in front of the presentation, I'll move in just a second. I've kind of adapted a presentation that we have as an online learning. So if you do like this presentation, it's very similar to a lot of our different online learnings. It's just at the end of going through the presentation, when you do the online learnings, you have to take a quiz. So if you get 8, 9, or 10 right out of the 10 possible on the quiz, you'll get the 5 points. A lot like you get the 5 points here. So what I wanted to talk about today was fruit and vegetables. And this is kind of something that I've got a new passion for. What happened is I've always been, in the past, the person that thought, what's the big deal about farmers markets? You can just go to the grocery store and get the same fruits and vegetables. Until I actually, sadly, it took me 39 years, went to a farmer's market, bought the stuff, realized that it's still the same price, wasn't sold, got home, tried the fruit and vegetables from the farmer's market, and I was sold. I could not believe how much more flavorful strawberries were, the jams, the honey, even the lettuce. Like if you get lettuce from a grocery store, it just has that crunchy texture, and the only taste is from the croutons and the salad dressing and whatever you put on later. I can taste a taste when I buy lettuce from a farmer's market. Now, when you go to a farmer's market and let's say you get a watermelon or a cantaloupe or even a banana or something with a shell on it, it's probably not going to be a whole heck of a lot different. But when you get the strawberries, the raspberries, the lettuce, the things that don't have the peel, the shell on it, it's going to be picked and not transported as far. It's going to be in season. It's probably, and I say probably, not going to be loaded up with as many chemicals that you would see at a grocery store. So I'm telling you, I'm a firm believer in farmers markets. I went to the one in Madison, which I didn't have to travel that far, but I wanted to see the nicest one in the state, and that was kind of a nice family outing. I brought my wife and 11-year-old, and it's right around the square, so kind of took in the sights as well as got 4 blocks worth of farmers market. Also been to the one in Neenah, which is where I'm from. They have one not only on Saturday, but they're trying to get a little bit more attention downtown, so they offer one on a Wednesday too. There's one on Saturday mornings in Appleton. And then I have a coworker who is from Montello. He lives in Neenah now, but he graduated from Montello. He was telling me about a really nice farmer's market in Princeton. So I know that's probably pretty close. Do you guys have one in Wapaka, Wild Rose? Any?
Yeah, Wapaka has one right on this corner.
There is one in Paca?
Yeah.
Do you know what the time is and what the date
Well,
is?
they're usually there every day.
Oh, really?
During the day.
Okay,
They
nice.
set up their little stand and.
And what's nice about it is they're only going to show up with the stuff that's in season.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, you're going to start getting to the end of strawberry season now, and you're going to start to see corn coming out. So, by taking advantage of farmers markets, you're really taking advantage of the fruits and vegetables that are truly in their ripest season. A lot of people, like my wife, she'll want to do it because it supports the local economy. The selling point for me is, I don't think it's in my head. I really think it tastes better. So, with that, that's kind of the reason I came to talk about fruits and vegetables. I just have a passion for it. And not a lot of talk about the farmer's market, but in the back of your mind, hopefully I sell you enough on fruits and vegetables that you'll consider, the next time you're through Wapaka, go by a farmer's market, instead of stopping at the gas station and getting the bag of chips and the soda, think about grabbing some of that ripe fruit or vegetables. Truth about fruits and vegetables, only 32% of adults in the United States is getting 2 or more servings of fruit a day. And even less are getting 3 or more servings of vegetables. Why 2? Why 3? Because this is the minimum requirement that you should have for fruits and vegetables. We should consume 5 fruits or vegetables a day, at least 2 fruit, 3 vegetables. And it really isn't, I'll talk about servings later, tough to get fruits and vegetables in our diet. It's just that our grocery shopping habits get us programmed to shop packaged foods and not the outlying part, or stopping at the roadside farmer's market or the big gathering where it's a whole city block. If we get more people to take advantage of it, especially in the summer when fruits and vegetables are plentiful, maybe it'll start changing people's grocery shopping habits and eating habits. As everybody knows, and I'm talking to a hospital here, so you guys have more education than I have on health and wellness likely, but fruits and vegetables are so packed with antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, all the good stuff. What people fail to realize is by consuming fruits and vegetables, it can help lower our risk for heart disease, certain types of cancers, obesity and type 2 diabetes, blood pressure, kidney stones, and bone loss. You guys are in a hospital setting, you deal with people coming out of a catastrophic heart attack or something big, and when they have their follow-up appointment, they usually have this new lease on life about, oh, I've started doing this and I've started doing that. And my push is, let's not wait until we have that big event. Let's make that change now. What a lot of people fail to forget is there are a lot of grams of fiber in fruits and vegetables. When you ask somebody, hey, give me a good source of fiber, I'd say 9 out of 10 people will say something along the lines of oatmeal, whole grains, something along that standpoint. But what they don't know is many fruits and vegetables have more grams of fiber than what we typically see as a good fiber source like whole grains, whole oats. There really isn't a fruit and vegetable that doesn't have a good amount of fiber in it, but I did want to give you the top 3 in each. And actually, I think this is more or less the top 4 or 5. There were a couple of fruits and vegetables that I didn't recognize, so if I didn't recognize them, I didn't want to put them on the presentation. But at least the top 5, dry figs, banana, and oranges would be the top 3, top 4, top 5 for fruits. And then for vegetables, baked beans, broccoli, and carrots. And baked beans and broccoli were head and shoulders above any other vegetable. Not that carrots or anything else is bad, but just the fiber in there is amazingly high. And a lot of people think of fiber as just a good way to keep us regular, but what many people fail to remember is fiber keeps us full. So if we're looking to lose weight, maintain our weight, or just feeling full, having fiber can do that. You eat a bag of potato chips, you're really not feeling full. You have a couple of apples or a couple of heads of broccoli, and it's got even less calories than that, but it's going to fill you up more. In 2007, a campaign went out called More Matters. And it's kind of sad, 2007 is already 6 years ago. But I like what they stressed. They stressed, again, having 5 fruits and vegetables a day. And even more, they stressed eating a rainbow of colors. I did have in my presentation, and I took it out just to condense it, the benefits of having purple, the benefits of having red, the benefits of having orange, the benefits of having white. Basically, what they found is by having a certain color, it might have a little bit more beta-carotene. By having another color, it might have a little bit more vitamin C. By having another color, it might have a ton of healthy phytochemicals. So instead of boring you with what has what I wanted to do instead was give you some different examples of how to get some more blue and purples into your diet. Now, there's a lot more blue and purple fruits, which is on the left, and then vegetables, which are on the right. But what I did is I just wanted to give you what I felt were the most popular when I looked these up. So, I'm not going to read them off, but blackberries, blueberries would be examples for fruit. Eggplant, purple cabbage, not a lot of good options for vegetables, but some people still have both. I know I have purple cabbage. Greens, this isn't going to be hard. When we think of fruits and vegetables, I think everybody thinks of greens. So if we're having a hard time getting greens in our diet, we got a problem, especially when it comes to the vegetable side. I know that you got to be, a little creative when it comes to fruit, but still, avocado, kiwi, green pears, green apples, grapes, green grapes, those are pretty easy to find. That's just a couple examples that I could fit on the PowerPoint slide of green fruits and vegetables. Whites, bananas, dates, pears, and then as far as vegetables, it was a lot easier. Cauliflower, ginger, garlic, mushrooms, onions, white potatoes, those sorts of things. If you would type in just nutrient content for a turnip or for garlic or whatever, and then you compare that to what I just mentioned for some of the purple fruits and vegetables, you'd see where some are a little spiked in vitamin A or others are spiked in vitamin C. So again, even though I omitted that from the presentation, the internet's out there, you can still find that. A couple more colors to go through. Yellows and oranges, again, pretty easy. Nectarines, oranges, peaches, pineapple, apricots, cantaloupe. And then as far as on the vegetable side, carrots, sweet corn, sweet potatoes, not too into pumpkin, but that's out there. Rutabagas, squash. I think this might be the last one, but red, pretty easy. Cranberries, red apples, I really like raspberries. I don't like beets, but they are packed with a lot of vitamins. Red potatoes, radishes, rhubarb is in season earlier in the year. And then tomatoes should be getting ripe probably in the next couple of weeks, maybe about a month from now. So when you think about fruits and vegetables and you're thinking about adding this to your diet, your grocery list, don't just think greens, don't just think reds. Try to have a plethora of colors because each color has its own separate phytochemical, nutrient, antioxidant that can help us out. I don't have this in the presentation, but I'm going to stop and kind of ad-lib a little bit. When you do go out and buy fruits and vegetables, again, if it has a peel on it, you really don't have to worry about washing it because you're not going to eat the peel. But if it doesn't have a peel, it is important to wash it. I do think, though, some people get a little bit too into the chemicals that they spray on there because if you think about all the chemicals that they put in all of our sausages, I guess, dried seasonings, all that, it's probably just as bad, if not worse. But somebody was telling me earlier today that if you add a little bit of vinegar when you're washing your fruits and vegetables, that's really going to kind of strip and cleanse any outside preservative that's on there. And then I always get ticked off because when I wash my fruits and vegetables and then I put them in the refrigerator, it seems like they don't last as long. So somebody was telling me either just wash them as far as what you're going to eat and then just keep everything dirty in a baggie, or else somebody gave me this idea, which I'll probably take because I don't want my refrigerator to be filled with dirty stuff even though it's in a package. I'm kind of particular that way. You can put paper toweling in to kind of absorb and suck up any of the extra water that you use to wash off grapes, kiwi, strawberries, whatever. But if you wash lettuce and you just package it back up, it's going to go bad in a couple of days unless you really dry it well or package it with paper towels like I heard earlier. More recent than 2007, I think 11, maybe 12, I think 2011, they came out with myplate.gov to take the place of the food pyramid. Why they did it was, we don't eat off of a pyramid, we eat off of a plate. So they wanted to give people, especially youngsters, the ability to be able to look at a diagram and get kind of a depiction of how much fruit and vegetables we should have, meat, dairy, all of that, as opposed to thinking of it as a pyramid. So they came out with this picture on the right. And again, this is far from the American diet, unfortunately. And a lot of times we kind of have the attitude where if we can't beat it, we're not even going to try. But I'm going to just kind of give you the push, give you the motivation. Even though you know that you're probably not going to get to filling up half your plate with fruits and vegetables, take a little picture of what your typical plate looks like now, and then just try to get it closer to a half, and that's a step in the right direction. What they also did, if you remember the old food pyramid, they talked about 6 to 11 servings of this, 2 to 3 servings of that. They got rid of those servings and talked more about cups. So cups replaced servings. So when we get to talking about fruits and vegetables, they're really pushing 2 to 3 cups of fruit a day and 2 to 3 cups of vegetables a day. It does get a little muddy though, because when you're dealing with that raw, leafy stuff that takes up a lot of space, because it takes up a lot of space and there's a lot of open air, you're going to have to start thinking about 2 cups for raw leafy greens. And then on the opposite end, when you're talking about dried fruits, and I brought up dried figs earlier as a good way to get fiber, you would only need half of that. But everything else, strawberries, cranberries, oranges, apples, potatoes, you name it, it's a cup is a cup is a cup. And then even when it comes to vegetable juice, it's still a cup. But when you do buy vegetable juice in the store, they can be really tricky. Make sure that you look on the back and see that it says 100%. A lot of times I'll ask my wife who does the grocery shopping, hey, can you buy this juice or that juice? She'll come home and I'll look at it and it's like, oh, it's only 10% or 27%. And I know if I say anything, she'll say, you can go to the store and get it. So I'm not going to complain, but if you do the grocery shopping and you're thinking you're doing the right thing because you're buying this and it's on sale, it might be on sale because it's only 10% juice or 27% juice. Make sure you read that it says 100% juice, because if it doesn't say 100% juice, it's just a lot of sugar water with a little bit of juice in it. For the last couple of slides, I'm going to give you some tips that I've come up with, coworkers have come up with, and even people that have viewed this presentation that we've later added on have come up with on ways to add fruits and vegetables to their day. I'm going to open it up to you guys. There's not a lot of you in here, but hopefully there's something that isn't on here that you guys can do. You can not only share with me, but share with the people in the room. Starting off with breakfast, if we took a little bit of granola, a little bit of yogurt, and then topped it off with our own fruit, it's going to be a lot healthier than counting on that jelly, cruddy, sugary substance that they put on the bottom of the cup. So think about getting your own yogurt, your own granola, and your own fruit to mix in together. Probably going to save some money doing it that way too. When it comes to any pancakes, waffles, cereal, oatmeal, or toast that we're having, fruits are always a good option on top of that. And then, out of respect to Elvis, if we could, put peanut butter and bananas on our toast, that tastes well as well. Lunch, a lot of people like to bring in a cold casserole to lunch, put it in the refrigerator, pull it out at noon, have that. Instead of just having a noodle casserole mixed with, whatever sauce is in there, add some broccoli, green beans, corn, peas, something, so it's just not pasta and sauce. Add lettuce, tomato, and onion to sandwiches, and then try a salad. Try a stir fry instead of going with the traditional burger and fries when you're out somewhere. For dinner, try to include 2 vegetables as sides with dinner, or at least try to have one as a side. If we're having dinner, serving dinner, whatever, and there's no vegetables out there, we're really doing ourselves an injustice. Also, try to have beans, corn on the cob, or a side salad with low-fat dressing instead of French fries. And then, worst case scenario, try a veggie pizza instead of your traditional pepperoni, sausage, Canadian bacon, ham, whatever. Tips for just having more fruit in general would be keeping a bowl of fruit on the table or counter. I'm guilty when my wife makes cookies of eating more cookies if it's just out on a plate. So use that same philosophy when it comes to having something healthier. It can be to the point that if she makes cookies, I'll tell her, put that away. You know where it is. Seth knows where it is. Our 11-year-old. I don't want to see it because if I see it, I'm going to eat it more. I can use that same philosophy when it comes to fruit and vegetables. Try to refrigerate, cut up fruit, and store for later. A lot of reasons your family or even yourself isn't going to have fruits and vegetables is it's too much of a pain to chop up. I love watermelon, but I hate cutting it up. But once it's cut up, if I put it in single serving dishes later, it's easier to just grab and have. So if you know your family is not having fruits and vegetables because it's just too much of a chore, cut it up for them if you have to. Try to buy fresh fruit in season. 1, it's going to taste better. 2, it's going to cost less. And then, I hate to even give you this advice, but if you got to do it to get you to eat it, try to buy the convenience already cut up pack from the grocery store. But I can tell you, you can get a watermelon about 3 times the size of my head for the same price as you can get a cut up packet that I can probably fit in my mouth. As far as tips for eating more vegetables, again, buy vegetables in season. They're going to cost less and they're going to be at their peak flavor. Don't worry about having frozen vegetables. There's a lot of research out there that shows that food manufacturers have found a way to be able to freeze it, pack it, while not losing any of the nutrients. So even though it's not going to taste as good as fresh vegetables, it's still going to be packed with the vitamins and minerals. Also, try to choose ones that are easy to prepare. There are some vegetables that are a bugger to prepare compared to others that are easy. And then also, try crunchy vegetables. What I've noticed is if I have a crunchy vegetable, like say carrot or celery, it takes me longer to eat it than something that doesn't have that crunch. And if it takes me longer to eat something, I'm less likely to have a lot of it, even though vegetables isn't a bad thing to have. But if we're looking at more fiber, we're looking at watching calories, maybe we're having it with a dip, choosing the crunchy is probably a better choice than going with the soft. Some of the different things I got this from was sparkpeople.com, myplate.gov, and then from the CDC. But a lot of those tips I got from giving presentations like this, and then later mentally keeping them here and then putting them on the presentation to continue to have it grow. Any tips that you guys have that I didn't outline here as far as making sure you get more fruits and vegetables, or making sure your family are?
My family, we always have salad. Salad's always like at the supper table.
So you have that before you even bring out the hot stuff?
Nope, everyone's got to have some salad with their supper, so it's like your second vegetable.
So it's not even an option, it's
no,
right
you
there.
just, and my kids love salad. I mean, really, they love it, so.
And you know what, that's a good thing to bring up, because I think we have a hard time envisioning the American plate as half fruit and vegetables. But if you have that salad bowl on the side, essentially you're giving yourself half a plate just by having the salad.
Yeah.
Good. You're instilling good habits into your children too. I have an 11-year-old. He's smart as a whip, but he still can't understand why I'm so concerned about what he eats if he's skinny. He thinks if he's skinny, he's perfectly healthy. He has no idea how he could be clogging his arteries as early as age 11, even though his metabolism is revved up by eating the garbage that he eats. So, you know, we have to be super creative in finding out fruits and vegetables that he likes. And what's sad is he just recently got a hankering for corn on the cob, and now in 2 weeks he's got to have braces. So, you know, we're always kind of up against something. But grapes, I don't know anybody who doesn't like grapes. Watermelon, I mean, there's always something. Salad, if you got your kids to like salad, you're better than I am. I haven't crossed that bridge yet. But grapes and watermelon, corn on the cob is kind of staples that he has.
And then another one is the bags of carrots. And you can go to Ollie's and get a big bag of carrots for 99 cents. So that's a big thing in our house too.
Yep. I'm on the road a lot. I go to different companies and hospitals and organizations and schools doing these types of presentations. So a lot of times I just get a craving for something, and I try to stop by Quick Trip. They have a lot of healthy produce. It's all bagged, but they'll still sell like a bag of carrots that's about this big. I'll get that in a skim milk and feel good about myself. And it gives me something to do in the car ride, to crunch away in the carrots, drink on the milk, rather than have their hot cheese curds or whatever. And they only get me for like 89 cents for this bag of carrot, and like $1.19 for a thing of skim milk, compared to what I'm watching the rest of the people grab off that hot rolly thing that who knows what they're grabbing. So yeah, I'm sure there's other gas stations out there, but I found that Quick Trip really has done well in keeping healthy options out there. Yeah?
I know also like how you store fruits and vegetables like at the right temperatures can also like change their flavors, and I figured that out because in the lunchroom right now they had storing fresh fruits and vegetables, and I was kind of like, oh, I never heard of that, so I went and looked up some of them, and if you store tomatoes in the refrigerator, it creates this bitter neurotoxin that like it won't kill you, but like it makes it bitter than if you leave them out on the counter. So I started taking my tomatoes out of the fridge and keeping them on the counter, and I was like, wow, that
Tastes a
really
lot
did
better.
make a difference. Yeah.
Anything else? I mean, so
that's
people
the
won't have
main
to do
one.
the research? I mean...
That's the main one that I have. But I
Okay.
have a lot of like food allergies, so I'm kind of limited.
Okay. Well, I've noticed too, just by cutting up bananas and putting them in some sort of a fruit cocktail type thing, fruit salad, they don't taste as well when they're really cold as when they're room temperature. So I hear you on this.
And you can even lose some nutrients, but I didn't really pay as much attention to that, depending on the story, because it wasn't super like, oh, you lose all the value. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it talks about after they're ripened, only storing it in the refrigerator for up to 3 days. So, and that can be the trouble. You know, they put the refrigerator together so they're on the bottom drawer. You got to open up. It's not like you open it up and it's staring right at you. But during the summer, my family has gotten in a better habit of going to that rather than the pantry or just the top 2 cupboards.
Actually, Tupperware has fridge smarts for vegetables and fruits.
They have what?
Fridge smarts containers that I store all my vegetables and fruits in, and they last a heck of a lot longer. They have vents for the high moisture vegetables or fruits, and I can store like a head of lettuce for almost 2 weeks, and it doesn't get bad. Just in that, I don't wash it or anything. You just put them in there dirty, like you were saying, but you wash them when you're ready to use them, and then you're not wasting a lot of, because I was throwing out a lot of stuff because we didn't eat it fast enough.
Any of you guys have, I don't, but any of you guys have gardens?
Yeah. I've got tomatoes already.
All you guys have
I've
gardens?
got tomatoes too already.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Mark,
You guys
what do you
make your
think
own
of-
salsa?
I used
Oh,
to,
yeah.
but not now.
We tried it once, but it didn't work.
Didn't work?
What do you think about juicing your vegetables?
I think it's great.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
But it's just trying to be able to find that concoction that tastes good.
Yeah.
If you go to just your typical smoothie shop, you might think you're doing the right thing, but the amount of sugar that they put in that to make it taste good is
Well,
tough.
I want to get a juicer, and I'm just wondering if it's worth it or not. I mean, I have the Magic Bullet, but yet in the juicer you can put everything in.
I think most people go with like the Magic Bullet type. I don't know if you'd even need to or want
You
to
don't think so?
upgrade from that. I do know that some people will put some protein powder in it just to add a little bit of flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I wish I could remember what it's called. They sell it at Woodman's in different flavors. It's like milk, but it's more of a thicker milk. But putting that in adds a little protein, so when you add some protein to it, it adds even more fullness to it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of recipes will call for adding a lot of kale to it.
Yeah.
Just a really healthy vegetable.
Well, I was just
to
wondering
put
because
in.
when you use the bullet, you can't really put a lot in there to make much. You only can go up to a certain line, and by the time you put your kale in and some onion or some apples or pears or whatever, you can't really put much in there. So to me, it's you're not really getting a good mixture of different stuff because you can only put 3-4 things in there, and if you want to taste it, you can't put a handful of stuff in of each one.
I wish I could remember what I have, but it's basically just a souped up blender, but it's got a spout on the bottom.
Oh.
You have a spout? You gotta blend it really good, otherwise that spout gets clogged up. But what I hate about juicing a lot of times is just it comes out kind of clumps, and to have that spout just to come out the bottom makes it so much better. So if you do have a juicer and
Well, I'm looking at the different juicers, and I'm just wondering if it's worth the money to spend on it or just to stick with my Magic Bullet, because I do like the Magic Bullet, but it's just, to me, that's more of a smoothie, where a juicer, you're actually going to have juice, and I could, do more stuff with that too.
I hear you have to use a lot of fruit to get. That's what I've heard.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, that you have to
because,
use like such a large quantity to get such.
but then
a
with the
small
Magic
amount.
Bullet, you got to actually package all the stuff up that you don't use, because you can't use a lot all at once.
So you use the Magic Bullet for like as a juicer, like.
Well, I chop everything up. I mean, and then
Okay.
I put protein in, I put some cinnamon in,
Okay.
and and then I put some it's the flax oil.
okay.
I put some of that in, but to me it comes out really thick. It's more like a smoothie.
Okay, so you're looking for more like a juice.
Yeah,
than-
but I mean, I like that, but that gets sickening where you kind of want to have like just a
Or
juicer.
refreshing.
Yeah.
A lot of those heavy duty juicers, I've heard a lot of people regret getting them just because after you juice, it's such a pain to clean. So, I mean, if you're excited enough about juicing to the point where you can get over the whole cleaning thing, I know that like the Magic Bullet or blender is
It's easy.
twice as easy to clean
It's easy,
compared
yeah.
to how hard it is to clean
But
a juicer.
But isn't it, if you're doing a juicer, that juice gets into your system faster than what you would digest just the actual foods itself?
I wouldn't think it's much different.
You don't think so?
No, and if it is, it might be different by seconds or minutes. You know, unless you're in Game 5 of the World Series and you need it right away. For just typical you and me, it's not going to
Okay.
matter.
Okay.
Yeah. I know I have to add a lot of sweet, like peach, strawberry, raspberry, blueberry, in order for me to be able
Well,
to
that's-
stomach it.
You mean for the juicer or for...
For any type of smoothie, anytime I
See, that's
choose
why I
to
have
blend.
so many different vegetables and fruits, but then you can't put a lot into that little thing that comes on the Magic Bullet,
Yeah.
you know? And then all of a sudden you're left with 3/4 of a piece of fruit for all the different fruits and vegetables you're using.
I think most people that do the Magic Bullet have like a 3-fruit combination. Sounds to me like you're doing 5, 6, 7, 8.
No, I'm doing like 3 or 4, but you just can't put a lot in when you have the kale or whatever, you know, the leafier stuff on the bottom. That really, and if you can only go to a certain
Do they make a
height
different
on it.
size? Or they
They got the 2 different
Two
sizes. They
different
got the smaller one, and they got the bigger one. I'm using the bigger
And
one.
it's still too small for her.
What about
Well, it's
frozen
just-
stuff versus like
I
fresh?
didn't want to use frozen if I had the fresh, you
Okay.
know.
Yeah.
What if you put your one fruit through, put it in like a bowl, put your next fruit through, put it in a bowl, and then just mix it all together?
Yeah.
Because it would
That's way
already
too
be
much
all
work.
juice.
Sounds to me like you're juicing enough that you need a bigger juicer, and even the ordeal
I mean, when
of
I
having
take the
clean
time to
later-
do it, well, you just rinsing it out and wiping it out for the Magic Bullet. It's nice.
But for the juicer, there's so
I
many
didn't
different parts.
have one yet.
Yeah, you gotta take this part out and clean this, and
Yeah.
this part out and clean this. I mean, I might be overstating it. I think you, with as much as it sounds like you're gonna wanna use it, I think you would be a good candidate for getting a juicer, but for most people, they would just as soon just use the Magic Bullet.
I mean, I don't want to spend that money on it. I mean, those juices are,
Yeah,
they
they're
range,
expensive.
Yeah.
you know. And for a decent one, if you're going to get a juicer, you might as well pay to have a good one. But I mean, I do like the Magic Bullet. It's just there's times it's just too thick, and then you want something that's
Do you use
later.
it for more than one? Like,
I
do you
put it
try
in the
to make it
refrigerator
for-
and then have it for lunch
Okay.
too.
Yeah, that would be, yeah. 'cause
I mean, I do
just heard
like
that
it.
you have
I'm
to
glad I
use so
got it.
much is what I've always heard.
I like if I make, I do more fruit smoothie type than I should say juicing type. I like if I make it too thin, then I can put it in the freezer, and then it kind of thickens up almost like a float type. So that's good. It's just, anytime I have a lot of the greens, I can't really freeze or put that in the refrigerator, because I get grossed out, because even after only an hour, it starts to get turned brown, even though I know it's still healthy. You know,
Well, I got to
just-
put a lot of
it's
fruit
tough.
in to take the taste of the kale out.
Yeah,
I really do, because the kale is bitter for me.
and no matter how much you blend it down, I always have to check my teeth when I'm done too, because
Well, I have to have a glass
Out
of
of
water
my
after
tea.
I'm done, just because you have an aftertaste from if it's not flavored right.
And I tried
Yeah.
spinach one time, and I just can't do the consistency of it. Like those,
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah. But if you do put a lot of natural sweetening types like raspberries,
I think it's just the
That's
feeling
cool.
of the spinach.
Yeah.
Like those little, I don't know.
Yeah, no matter how much
I'm
you
a
cut it down, you can still
consistency
do
person.
still kind of, yeah, seaweedy, slimy.
Yeah. I tried it. It didn't work, so.
I like cottage cheese, like 1 to 2% cottage cheese and then a fruit.
Okay, I thought you were going to say you were going to juice with that, and
No.
you lost me. I'm like, no.
I just like to eat that as like a snack next to the yogurt. So.
And I mean, that's especially big for you guys because calcium is so important, protein is so important, and yeah, if you like cottage cheese, just make sure you're trying to get the 1% or
2%. I only use.
you only use a 2%. That's a little bit more fatter, but you know, as long as you're using enough fruit with it, you turn it into somewhat healthy. Good. Well, I went a little bit over. I'm glad I did though, because it showed me that you like the topic. And yeah, hopefully the next time you go by a farmer's market, or heck, even Quick Trip, you think about pulling in there.
Thank you.
Thanks.